and she gets joined up with a family of 11.
Comes from a family of 10.
Now you put the spouses and all the extra individuals together, that had to be a big heart. Otherwise, it would have been a lot of trouble. She really was adopted by the local Swiss, even though she wasn't. But she was adopted by it, and she adopted the community. And so, she might as well have been Swiss. I think in her own quiet way, she was stubborn, like a Swiss. I never asked Dad about that. I don't think that was fitting to ask him about that. So, I came along and they were both 21, and wouldn't you know, World War II. Dad and Uncle Otto enlisted in September 1942. When Dad finally shipped out with the Army Air Corps to Panama, he left Mom expecting Ron. And then Mom had Ron and I. And you know, it was really neat when Mom was pushing the stroller down through town and had a harness on me. Now, I don't know why. But she had a harness on me. Our first stop was Pete Zemp's Meat Market. Always a wonderful aviator. I mean, how could you miss? And then old man Motzinger at the bakery, he always had sweets for us. And it was a great trip. But there was nothing like the three of us getting on the Badger bus that used to run from Freeport to Verona, Madison area. And we would go through Bell Bell and stop at Piola. They would let us off, and we would go to the farm. And we spent days and weeks at the farm. And that was a wonderful time until, let's see, was it Uncle Floyd that helped Ron with the tripping and the broken leg? Yeah, well, you know, things happen. And, but we loved it there. And that's what gave us the love of the land. Mom loved the land. Mom loved work. That's why you see on the funeral card, farm. Mom didn't live on the farm, but she might as well have, because her heart was always out there in the land. I want to read something here. Family ties, because this was Mom in these families. Family ties are precious things, woven through the years, of memories of togetherness, of laughter, love, and tears. Family ties are cherished things, forged in childhood days, by love of parents, deep and true by tradition, by family ways. Family ties are treasured things. And far though we may roam, the tender bonds with those we love still pull our hearts towards home. Mom's heart was crushed when Uncle Otto was killed, along with the rest of the family. Excuse me. And his back here. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much for coming. It's a tough time for all of us. I didn't know so much. I was pretty young, but I still know that it set up such travail in the household. A difficult time. Uncle Otto is the reason that the local Division Post is Stussy Kinsey. Stussy from World War I and Kinsey. Uncle Otto from World War II. Sticking close together was the only option. You've seen some of these clips where the military men have had to go to a house and tell about a spouse, son or daughter losing their life in service. And it's not an easy thing in any way whatsoever. Mom had deep empathy for everyone. In 1945 then, here we're at the end of the war, we lived upstairs in the Legler house, and some of you will know where Bob and May Beckwith lived. That's the upstairs where we lived. When Brother Wayne was on the way, they decided that this is pretty small. We should try to get a house. And so Dad found this wonderful builder, and it was his last house. He had built a lot of the wonderful two-story houses in this town. It was named Waldy Alton. And he said, well, we can do it in stages. So we had a basement, and it was a little tapered roof like this. And we lived in there for a time until we could get the next 2 stories built up. The dogs and deer that ran across there were quite entertaining. It was a noise below. That house was just sold, so we have another time of transition for us. A lot of things transpired. After the house got the next 2 stories, Bruce came along in 53, Dennis came along in 55, Ed came along in 60. No, Ed, that's the unique one, the youngest one. You know, again, 5 boys. What do you think the 6th one might be? No such happening in that household. So I was off to basic training, and Eloise and I are on the tarmac up at Dane County Regional, and that time we walked all the way out to the plane, ready to go, and Mom says, I'm pregnant. Okay. I'm just 18, that's all. By the time he comes, I'm 19. So I didn't get to be around the house very much with Dad, but I dearly love him. And the other brothers. Been really good with Mom. Each of them. These, the last 48 hours of vigil that we had was very good. Bonding together. Tina, we miss Dennis. Now, when you got that many boys, Mom was still looking forward to girls. She got them. We had to bring them home. And it was a wonderful thing. And then Mom marveled at the grandchildren and the great-grands and the great-great-grands in those years that followed. She loved them all. The nieces and nephews and friends and their kids too. Mom's heart was big enough to include each person that she had known, even if the prior relationship, as I said before, did not work out. At age 50, you know, just a few years from retirement, not Mom, she decided she would become a nurse's aide at the 33 years later, she retired at 83. There's a picture over here of her and Dolores. They had a combined 60 years of service here. 33 for Mom, 27 for Dolores. And she retired from here. So she was a CNA. She also, the former administrator here was here, and she was one of the first workers that he was ever introduced to, and Jane Phillipson, Zilmer Phillipson, was introducing Roger around and said, here's one of our really faithful good workers. And that's what Mom was. Probably some of you don't know that sometimes we would get a nice parking lot out here, and that nice parking lot, when Mom was called in to come to work, or because someone else couldn't make it from somewhere else, she actually got blood on her hands and on her knees when she crawled in.